You don't need a plane ticket to visit legendary venues. Red Rocks, the Troubadour, 3rd and Lindsley, the Bitter End. Iconic stages streaming nightly. Tune in from your living room, on the road, or wherever you are. There's always a show on Volume.com. Check your inbox for our nightly lineup. We all know music festivals are the best way to see your favorite artists. The sunshine or the rain, ice-cold beers, or whatever's left. And let's not forget the outfits. But sometimes, life gets in the way. Wish you could watch from home? With Volume.com you can. Next time you can't make it to your favorite festival, tune into Volume.com to catch all the action. Rain or shine, at home, a cold beverage is always within reach. Check your inbox to never miss a beat on Volume.com. Go to Volume.com and click upcoming shows to see the schedule. Give back on Volume.com. As proud partners of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Jam for Good, Divided Sky Foundation, and more, Volume.com streams shows that support kids with cancer, men and women in recovery, and communities in need. Check your inbox to be the first to know about upcoming benefit shows, with exclusive merch, meet and greet opportunities, and ways to contribute. Do good on Volume.com.
so pulling for that. Yeah, it is the, it's, yes, dear. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm really, that would be so cool today. That would be the biggest upset in the history of the world, wouldn't it? Did they beat Congo? Yeah. Portugal got lucky. Yeah, they're playing Croatia, I think. That's right. Yeah. This VAR thing. I get it to a certain extent. And they could right. And then they're like, what I like the NFL pretty much. NFL, it's got to be overwhelming. You know, it's got to be, what they do, they're going to be the same thing with baseball. If it's close, it's great. What I don't understand is why they went to VAR. See, this is what I don't understand. What made them go to VAR? That was oh, so there was nothing. There was, yeah. So he never saw it. He only saw the replay. Yes, and he saw it in slow motion, which is not emotion. Right. It's like, it has like this. Make the call live. Right. And if he doesn't make it, you can see everything in slow motion. Right. Yeah, it wouldn't be a game. Right. And you know, it's such a, like, yeah. Here we go. Start out with a long horn that's going to make half the people in here pissed off. Yeah. All right, all you World Cup haters out there. Do we have any bookkeepers or accountants here? We're going to start out with a poem that is an allegory to being a bookkeeper. This is called The Ledger. You don't need to live under Vladimir Putin to recognize the stink of tyranny wafting out of the Oval Office. You don't need a PhD in kleptocracy to know what looting with an American flag pin on a suit lapel looks like. And you don't need to be a criminologist to know that our entire government is now operating like a mafia syndicate. No, just follow the boots, the bans, the buzzwords, the book burnings, the blood in the snow. What we're watching here isn't chaos, it's choreography, a state-sponsored smash and grab with a patriotism decal slapped on the window. This regime isn't some dumb accident. It's a reprint of the Russian repression playbook with the serial numbers filed off in a Bible quote taped to the cover. And the cruelty? That's not the malfunction, that's the feature. It doesn't just silence the victims, it stuns the audience. Every immigration raid, every courtroom farce, every fascist cosplay speech is meant to freeze you right where you are while they empty the vault. You think these goons care about America? They care about the spectacle. They care about the scam. Their leader stumbles with power like a raccoon loose in a pawn shop, hungry, clumsy, and shiny thing obsessed. And he dragged in every grifter, bully, and bootlicker he could find to fleece our country while it was still warm. They aren't building anything. They are stripping our republic for its parts. And the mask is nationalism. It's law and order. It's unidentified men in jackboots dragging mothers into vans. Not to solve a crisis, but to create one. Because when you're scared, you're silent. And when you're grieving, you're not organizing. And when you're too busy just surviving, you stop dreaming of justice. That is the point. That's always been the point. This isn't about immigration. It's about domination. It's about them making sure you know your place in their America. They want you afraid, obedient, impotent, disillusioned, and alone. But history ultimately laughs at cowards like these. The shock will fade and fear will calcify. And that's when rage sharpens into action. These bastards want silence? Give them hell. They want surrender? Give them solidarity. They want your despair? Give them defiance. Say what's wrong. Point to it. Name it. Stand in front of the bus. Don't let them launder oppression with euphemism. They're not enforcing the law. They're disappearing neighbors. And they're not protecting borders either. They're carving up the soul of our democracy and selling the scraps to the highest bidder. And through it all, through every lie and betrayal, every flashbang, every condescending news anchor telling us to calm down, we need to remember why it is we fight. We fight for every person that's been brutalized or erased during this nation's history. We fight for the freedom riders and the fire-hosed and the disenfranchised and the dispossessed, all of those stuffed into prisons without due process. And we fight because the ghosts of those who stood against fascism the first time are watching us now to see if we learned anything from their struggle. We don't fight because we're optimists. We fight because we are alive, God damn it, because history is right here, right now, and this time it is our names that are on the ledger. And each of us needs to make sure our name is carved on the correct side of it. Well, it could be a long night. It might be a while before you see the light of day again. Tell me now, are you down? Well, are you down to do this thing? How deep is your faith? How strong's your belief? 'Cause it could be a long night. I mean, this could really knock some time off your clock. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing. But like a melting candle of pain, you're gonna need to burn away every little thing. It no longer matters, 'cause it could be a long night. Talking about your dignity, I'm talking about your safety. Well, these are illusions, as you will see, long before you ever see the light. Everything you ever cared about, all the things you thought you never doubt, well, all of this will be driven out. And it could be a long night. Yes, this could be a long night. Yes, a mighty long night. Well, you better hold on tight, 'cause it could be a long night. a leviathan of authoritarianism that we face, my friends. There will be clouds of foreign entanglements and reams of alternative facts. Executive orders will be issued to round up the opposition. Babies will be ripped from the arms of their mothers along our nation's borders. And the rights of women to have dominion over the affairs of their own bodies will be brought into question. And going up against this, it's going to take courage. And I'm not talking about posting shit on Facebook kind of courage. I'm talking about real courage, moral courage, spiritual courage, and physical courage. So get ready. This could be a long night. I'm talking about your dignity. I'm talking about your safety. Well, these are illusions, as you will see, long before you ever see the light. Everything you ever cared about, all the things you thought you never doubt, all of this will be driven out. And it could be a long night. Yes, this could be a long night. Yes, a mighty long night, where you better hold on tight, 'cause it could be a long night. There's a package store across the highway from the poultry plant. And when your shift is up, that's where you get a pint and your lotto ticket at. And out back there's a dumpster where you can sit around and drink. Think of all the bridges you know you'll never get across. And my people come from the dirt, full choke and steel guitar, and cigarettes and whiskey, and a dog is chained in our yard. And my people come from the dirt, white bread and kerosene, and catfish and flatbeds, sweat stains and retreads, and okra and Ecclesiastes. There are weeping saviors tattooed to the shoulders of the dispossessed, and bloody rivers of time flowing nowhere from somewhere back deep in our past. And it's treeless and it's bleak, and trash is scattered all across the open fields, and it's busted lips and kids riding on hips, and songs of longing and loss. My people come from the dirt, a full choke and steel guitar, and cigarettes and whiskey, and a dog is chained in our yard. My people come from the dirt, white bread and kerosene, catfish and flatbeds, sweat stains and retreads, and okra and Ecclesiastes. Yeah, my people, they come from the dirt. Salvation, that's the only antidote to all this poverty and disgrace. And pride's the only card left to play when it comes to saving face. So you always better watch your back. And don't you ever spare the rod when you're standing there in the crosshairs of your angry and jealous God. And my people come from the dirt, a full choking steel guitar, cigarettes and whiskey and a dog is chained in our yard. And my people come from the dirt, white bread and kerosene, and catfish and flatbeds, sweat stains and retreads, and okra and Ecclesiastes. Yeah, these are my people. I'm going to read you a poem by one of my favorite poets. Her name is Mary Oliver, and she recently passed. She was a very prolific writer. I thought I had read everything of hers, and upon her death, my cousin sent me this poem, and it's now one of my favorite Mary Oliver poems. Of the Empire. We will be known as a culture that feared death and that adored power, that tried to vanquish insecurity for the few, and that cared little for the penury of the many. We will be known as a culture that taught and rewarded the amassing of things, that spoke little, if at all, about the quality of life for people, other people, for dogs, for rivers. All the world in our eyes, they will say, was a commodity. And they will say that this structure was held together politically, which it was. And they will say also that our politics was no more than an apparatus to accommodate the feelings of the heart. And that the heart in those days was small, and it was hard and full of meanness. Well, I was about to go blind. I was straining my eyes, I was searching for some kind of sign of a change. But it's hard to swallow the truth. But man, I sure could use just a little bitty, a taste or two right now. Never been a better time to raise your hands against your fathers. Burn a flag, lay some flowers upon the graves of our long-forgotten martyrs. Well, I'm not saying I'm all in or nothing, no. I'm just searching for a sign. And it's hard to save yourself once you poison the well. Well, who you gonna call for help then? 'Cause once them wheels, they fall off and we start spinning for the wall, well, there ain't no soft way to land. Never dreamed, never lived see the day that I'd see days like this. Did we just look up and all of a sudden find ourselves caught up in this big old fucking mess? I'm not saying I'm all in or nothing, no. I'm just searching for a sign. Everybody is waiting on somebody else to make that first move, but it's hard to start a revolution when your face is 6 feet from your television. Well, you're all afraid to make that big decision. You keep on hoping for a sign, like maybe some virgin crack whore giving birth to a Christ child in a trailer park out there in Green Hills, or a little black stable for a statue crying whiskey tears the front yard of Mar-a-Lago. Well, I'm not saying I'm all in for nothing, no. I'm just searching for a sign. I wanna know how much shocking all it takes to bring a nation right to its senses. Man, I can feel a change, it's coming soon, and I keep on hoping for a sign. Any kind of sign, searching now, I really need myself a sign, yeah. Any kind of sign, searching man, I really need myself a sign. Say hello to Dr. Holly Riley.
Hello.
Mr. Josh Day back there banging on the drums.
Can I get a little bit more fiddle in the monitors, please? Check, check.
I was talking to my friend Carlisle Carroll, who's here tonight. He and I grew up in Tallahassee together. We were in grade school together. And we were talking about a friend of ours who I actually happened to had been married to for a while, who died a year and a half ago. And she had divorced me for cause about 30 years ago. And we had remained very good friends. She was like a sister to me. We started dating when I was 16 and she was 14. And so after she divorced me for cause, I sobered up and began to get my life together, and I owed her a big debt for that. But shortly after I kind of sobered up, I was driving across the Florida Everglades, coming to Miami from Fort Myers, and I got out there in the middle of the Everglades, and I had an experience. And so a song came out of that experience, a song that I wrote to her. When I was singing it, she was right there. I was seeing her. And after she passed, the song, the words of the song have not changed, but the song has changed. And this is called Tears from Carmen's Eyes. I was driving across the Everglades the other day, and I had the AM radio on, and I was listening to some old Havana tunes from back in the day when the Casablanca fans twirled in the thick cigar smoke at the Tropicana. And there were dark men dressed in white suits played dominoes in the shade along the Malecon. And there was an angry black cloud boiling in the western sky. And I smelled the wet dog smell of a coming rain. I seen the lightning bolts flame. I heard the whistle of the wind. I could feel its power. I heard the rumble of the thunder as my hands gripped hold of the wheel. I seen a red-tailed hawk rise from the bank of the canal that ran along the side of the road. And he circled beneath that black cloud in a picture frame of lightning bolts. And then, well, he dropped something. Then he rose like a kite without a string to the heavens above. There was a woman named Carmen de la Guerra, and she was singing a song called El Dolor y Mi Amor. And she sounded so sad, and I could feel the tremendous sense of loss that weighed on her every word. And it hit me hard, and it hit me deep. And I turned on the wipers as her tears hit my window shield. And way out here, beneath the rain of Carmen's tears, where creation seems so vast and so far away from the love we could not save, memory floods in from my past. I don't know why I get so sentimental, but maybe that song and that hawk and that storm weren't all just coincidental. Yeah, the rain come down so hard I could hardly see. So I pulled over at the reservation and parked the car beside an open thatched hut. And there was an Indian woman there, sitting quietly, nursing her baby, solemn and back straight. And she was watching that storm as though it were a movie. Well, I killed the motor, but the radio kept playing on. Then my mind fogged up, the rain was pounding on the hood. I knew what to do, I just didn't know I could. Then I wept like a child while Carmen kept singing her song. And way out here in the middle of nowhere, everything I buried, it's falling from the sky. And everything I feared, it's like everything we held so dear, and it's washed away by tears from Carmen's eyes. I don't know how much time went by before that storm passed overhead and opened up the sky to a big red sun, bright as any that I'd ever seen. It was as though I had awoken from a dream and everything had changed. And I kept hearing echoes to the words of that song that I'd heard Carmen sing. And for the first time since you left, I really realized that you were gone. Way out here, beneath the rain of Carmen's tears, where creation seems so vast and so far away from the love we could not save. Your memory floods in from my past. Way out here in the middle of nowhere, everything I buried, it's fallen from the sky. And everything I fear, it's like everything we held so dear. It's washed away by tears from Carmen's eyes, Carmen's eyes. We got a few musicians. I just see Tommy Womack walk in here. What's that, Tommy? Thought I saw. We got Danny Schmitz here tonight. We got a lot of musicians in the house. A high percentage of musicians in the house. I'm gonna do a song that I wrote. I wrote it to myself. This is one of those songs that I wrote it to myself. But it's about us musicians who suffer from vanity and delusions about our careers and about our status. Mine got tripped up one night. I played at Eddie's Attic my first time. I'd gotten a opening job for Dan Byrne. I made $200 and I was coming home and got a speeding ticket for $180. And I'd been I was feeling kind of high on myself, and this is how we are. See, I was driving home feeling high on myself, and then like 10 minutes later, I was a total piece of shit, who couldn't go on the road and cover a speeding ticket. And while I'm sitting there and he's writing this ticket for me, a voice started in my head. It was a female voice telling me about how pathetic I was and how I was just wasting gasoline and burning rubber, and my stuff was negative and too dark, and people didn't like it. It was depressing, and I needed to give it up. And so I wrote down all this stuff that she was telling me, and then I actually took the opportunity to answer it, and it became a song. And tonight, Dr. Holly Riley is going to be that negative voice. So hang on. Let me get the groove here.
This is going to be hard,
You ready?
You're a slave to your imagination, chained to the throttle of a runaway train. All your life you looked upon creation, trying to find a window where you could escape. You call it art, but you're just jerking off. All you wanna do is make a name for yourself. Sucking up to owners and promoters. Could it be any good if it's something you made?
Well, I got my songs, a sense of intervention. It's a raunchy business, but I know the score. And I can take it just as good as I can give it. I love to mix up trouble with metaphor. It's true, every song, man, is just a compromise. But every now and then I find a word will ring true. I hang my hat on a hook, I know I get 'em. I scribble down some bullshit and I call it a tune.
You're a slave to your imagination, chained to
I'm wired this way. I'm too damn old to be burning like this. I guess I like the taste of a sticky situation. I never learned to love without making a mess. 20 years I've been working on surrender, never came to believe God was yanking on the string. Ain't no cure for hot and cold. I lean into the future when I feel the squeeze.
Oh, you're a slave to your imagination, chained to the throttle of a runaway train. All your life you looked upon creation, trying to find a window where you could escape.
Everybody wants to water their own little flower, tilt the altar where they worship their sins. Fly my flag above a prison house of language. The only way you sail is when I'm close to the wind. Psychology, mythology, or crooked ways of looking through a smoky glass. Abstract theory, it's a futile search for meaning. You never know the truth until it kicks your
Ask me and I'll tell you that. Oh, you're a slave to your imagination, chained to the throttle of a runaway train. All your life you looked upon creation, trying to find a window where you could escape. Oh, you're a slave to your imagination, chained to the throttle of a runaway train. All your life you looked upon creation, trying to find a window where you could escape.
And when will I learn that I'll never escape? Now, my friend Danny Goddard, who has produced my records, he heard me introduce that song, saying it was a song to myself, and he told me how fitting it was that I wrote a song to myself and it was only one chord. Yeah, he can be kind of an ass. I started. I am new to the scene. I have only been doing this for 16 years. I sang in a microphone for my first time the weekend of my 50th birthday. I had, without 19? Okay, well. Oh yeah, that's right. I keep trying to shave off a few years. So I'm kind of new to this. I was messing around with songs before I started singing for people. And I had a song that I started writing in the late 1980s during the Intifada, if you might remember that. And I had an idea for the song, and I just couldn't finish it. And very rare in my songwriting process, if it doesn't really happen for me, I'm not one of those guys who goes digging through his lyrics trying to find something. Once I abandon it, it's pretty much abandoned. But 2 years ago, in October, I guess that was of 2024, or might have been 23, I picked this song back up and finished it. Sackcloth and ashes underneath the thigh of the hand. That's 150 lashes. It's way more than any man could stand. And if you keep silent in a time such as this, accept the ways of gain by violence, you are taking, you're accepting the risk. Sins of the fathers fall upon the sons and daughters. I can hear King David calling, "O Absalom." And sins of the fathers fall upon the sons and daughters. And here we are 3,000 years later with the worst yet to come. A day of darkness and black clouds across this land. The nation up and plays the harlot. The waters don't flow on the desert sand. So turn back the pages to a time we hold so dear, and you will see down through the ages the message written, the lesson given is clear. Sins of the fathers fall upon the sons and daughters. Well, I can hear King David calling, "O Absalom." And sins of the fathers fall upon the sons and daughters. And here we are 3,000 years later with the worst yet to come. Strike the tent, slaughter the lamb, cross the river to another land. It's holy ground, but there's blood all on it, and killing is killing no matter what you call it. Sins of the fathers fall upon the sons and daughters. I can hear King David calling, "O Absalom." And sins of the fathers fall upon the sons and daughters. Well, here we are 3,000 years later with the worst yet to come. So if you keep silent in a time such as this, accept the ways of gain by violence, you are taking, you're accepting the risk. All right, tomorrow's 4th of July. Carly, you're from Wakulla County, aren't you? Wakulla. She is from Wakulla. Carly is from Wakulla County, Florida. Yes, which is a county just southwest of Tallahassee. Back in the day, there was a time when the license plates in Florida would have a number and a dash, and then a bunch of other numbers. And that first number indicated what county that tag was from, and it was based upon population of the county. And Dade County, which is where Miami was number 1, dash, and there was a number, and it kept, Duval County was 2, Hillsborough was 3, Leon County, which is Tallahassee, where I'm from, was 13. There are 68 counties in the state of Florida, and Wakulla County was 67. That was the number that was on there. There is a town in Wakulla County called Sopchoppy, which is an old Indian word. It means keep out the Walmart. And when I moved back from Nicaragua in 2006, I began going to Sopchoppy, and I was there one day when they were having a parade, our 4th of July parade. And there was an incident. And I later found out the incident was based that these people, a very brave, courageous group of people, had been there the year before and had become a little upset, a little offended by the proceedings of the 4th of July. And they have a guy there named Freeman Pygott. Did you ever know Freeman Pygott? Freeman Pygott had Freeman Pygott's well digging and septic tank company. Only in Wakulla County would you let the same guy put your septic tank and your well in. But Freeman had this lowboy trailer pulled behind a John Deere, and he had one of these big septic tanks. It looks like almost like a little submarine. You might have seen it made out of fiberglass. Has a hole for the effluviant to come in and a hole for the effluviant to go out. Well, he wrapped this thing in bunting on this lowboy and put kids in it and gave them candy. And they were coming through downtown throwing candy out of the septic tank into the crowd. And there was just a bunch of stuff going on. I later found out that these people didn't set with them. And they decided, I'm just going to sing the song. The Wakulla County called it, the Wakulla News called this an incident. Well, the gay and lesbian sons and daughters of the Southern Confederacy, they built a float and they entered it in our 4th of July parade. And there were ladies wearing leather and men wearing lace and others wearing pink leotards. And with a swish and a swagger they come strutting down the street, waving the stars and bars. Well, yeah, you gay and lesbian sons and daughters, the Southern Confederacy. Well, they built a float and entered it in the 4th of July parade. There was a fellow with a flute and a tutu playing Dixie with a skinny drummer boy. And this butchie gal, she was the majorette, directing with an obscene toy. Well, yeah, you gay and lesbian sons and daughters, the Southern Confederacy. Well, they built a float and entered it in the 4th of July parade. A poster of old Stonewall Jackson and another a Truman Capote, and there was Billie Jean King and Elton John, but the biggest was a Robert E. Lee. Well, yeah, you gay and lesbian sons and daughters, the Southern Confederacy. Well, they built a float and entered it in the 4th of July parade. Do another one. Uncle Sam to wave the rebel flag on Independence Day, or just a poke in the ribs of that long lost cause for these queers to carry on this way. Well, yeah, you gay and lesbian sons and daughters, the Southern Confederacy. Well, they built a float and entered it in the 4th of July parade. Yeah, they built a float and entered it in our 4th of July parade. Do we know if Senegal beat Argentina? Does anybody know anything important? Cabo Verde. Do we know if Argentina beat Cabo Verde? Argentina? All right. Band's gonna play on though. Man, I got way out. Yeah. Yeah, the parade knocked everything out of tune. A number of years ago, I got invited to play at the Oclockney River Bluegrass Festival. How I got in there, I don't know, but it was a 3-day event. I was supposed to play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I played Friday, and I played that song, and when I got off stage, the guy paid me in full and told me I didn't have to play anymore. So, I'm wrestling with this a little bit here. I tuned it with my capo halfway on.
Tune that quick or I'll start telling stories about
You tell a lie about me. Okay,
Grant used to be my neighbor.
I was a good neighbor too.
He was a great neighbor.
I kept your dog.
He gave me he took care of my dog. He gave me a pepper plant that somehow Florida could not kill.
Okay, you ready? This is a song that's hard to clap for, so if you don't want to clap for this, just don't. It was back in 1975 that I first had some hope for our cultural divide. That's when I saw hippies and rednecks dancing side by side at Willie Nelson's Texan 4th of July. But in the last few years, there's been a troubling change. It's like both sides now have just gone insane. Everybody's screaming and nobody's listening. It seems to me like a time bomb's ticking, got your left wing and right wing, your black and white, conservatives and liberals just itching for a fight. When you know you're wrong and you know they're not right, you can bet there's gonna be trouble. So whip out a switchblade, pull out a gun, pistol whip some bitch just for fun. And don't you stop dealing till the dealing is done, till we start killing each other. Yeah, you're wasting time trying to pump the brakes, 'cause winning never happens for those who hesitate. Gotta ask yourself if you got what it takes to take aim at your brother. So get your axe handle ready, get your machete sharp. Brickbats and ice picks and poison darts. It'll be hard to stop once this shit starts. Once we start killing each other. Ah-ha! Don't let the circle be unbroken. Don't you let no sunshine in. Who the damn where the flowers have gone? The answer's not blowing in the wind. Don't be afraid now to take a stance. Let's all be victims of circumstance. You gotta be willing to give killing a chance. Yeah, let's start killing each other. I say let's start killing. Let's start killing. It looks to me like we're about to start killing each other. Oh, you clapped it? I was coming through Nashville. I'm on my way west, and wild idea. I had this song I had just written, and I called him and I said, hey, man, do you know a bass player that you work with that we can do this new song I wrote? I'd love to get in the studio and do it. That's my girlfriend laughing because I can't find my lyrics. No, you're laughing at me. I haven't started laughing yet. There we go. So anyhow, I called Josh. He was out on the road with Travis Tritt. And I called him, and he was out on the road, and he said, yeah, I can do. I asked him while I had him on the phone if he thought I could get an opening job for Travis Tritt. He said he didn't think that would be a good fit. But he said he knew a great bass player. He played a bunch of stuff. Anyhow, he put a session together for us, and we went in yesterday and recorded this song. I have never played this song out. We kind of discovered the song in the studio, which doesn't mean I'm going to rediscover it here as I'm playing it. I am going to play it in a different key because I'm not going to retune, but you don't really care about that, do you? Okay, so let me see here.
Drummer's got to start upcharging for those keychains.
Yeah, here we go. I don't think there's anybody in this room who qualifies for being the target of this song. We'll find out. All right, Miss Gen Z. When your brave new world reality's defined by your silly ass tattoos, and your evolving sexuality has your friends and family all confused, and you never got that education you didn't want when you went off to school. But you become an influencer with hungry people wanting a piece of you. Those fancy teapots you've been pushing were made by starving children in Asia. And the irony and duplicity of your business model don't seem to faze you. And it appears like anything like self-awareness is just not in your nature. 'Cause you turn the other way and say you'll help those starving children later. I saw the selfie of you dancing on the beach in the Dominican Republic, where you went to work remotely and had your special ayahuasca moment. And now you're posing as a nomad with a spirit and a mind you say's been open. I guess your followers believe this, but it's plain as day to me that you're just broken. Sitting on the fence, you feel unkillable as the fascists take control. 'Cause your coping skills are sharpened and all you care about is being on the road. And there won't be no stopping you till the bills they all come due and we're all busted. If you ever look into the mirror, what you'll find there's gonna make you disgusted. Best friend Allison, she told me, please call her up. They said that once you hit the big time that you begin falling out of touch. They begged me to talk to you and convince you this craziness must stop. But I explained that a man would have to love you to do that, and I do not. That's the first time for that one. Oh, does anybody here know what the word strophic means? If I said I wrote a strophic song, you know what that is? Do you?
I have a PhD in music.
Oh shit, that's got the Dr. Holly Riley here. Yeah, so tell us what a strophic song is. Do you know what a strophic song is?
Just because you told me.
Oh, I did. I told you. I learned something, and I tell everybody I know. So what's a strophic song? What does it mean?
I'm assuming it means it's just verse after verse after verse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that doesn't make it sound like a very appealing song when you say it that
I'm sorry. This is going to be a song that captivates you with the perfect amount of repeating verses.
There you go. Strophic, everybody. Put that in your little note. Okay, now I lost the set list in my panic. Okay, here we go. We're getting ready to get serious here. I've been singing about a lot of stuff that I don't know if anybody got up and left. That happens sometimes. Our country in the last 8 or 9 years has gone through a real transformation. There's been this huge schism that has cut right down through the middle of our national character and our national consciousness. And it seems like everybody falls on one side or the other of this. And we've had it. We've lost friends. We've lost band members. People that we grew up with, went to high school with. We no longer. Carlisle is one of the few people that I grew up with that will come out and hear me play. And it's hardest when it's somebody in your family. And I've had an experience like this with my great niece. Her name is Sadie. And she's 11 years old now, I believe. She is the last of the Peeples. My father was an only child. He had 2 sons, me and my brother. I have no children. My brother only had 1 child. He had a son, and that son had the daughter, Sadie, who was my great niece, the last of the Peeples. And when she was born, I thought I was going to be involved. I wanted to be involved in her life because I knew the kind of milieu she was growing up in. I wanted to have an influence. I wanted to be able to hedge against that, I think. That has not happened. I'm not involved in her life. But I wrote her this song hoping that when she grew up, that she might stumble across it. And it's called Dear Sadie. Dear Sadie, well, I want to tell you about the family, Tallahassee in Mississippi. That's the dirt that you come from. Your ancestors, they were hardy. They were rugged and strong-willed. They stole a continent from another people. And some are plundering it still. Dear Sadie, I hate to be the one to tell you that there are traitors in your bloodlines who took up arms against our nation, and they attacked the Constitution and had their asses handed to them. Dear Sadie, this is the past we can't forget. Aside from bird shit on some monument, being white is fraught with privilege. I hope your eyes, they're never blinded to this truth. I hope your heart is put to its fullest use, and that you grow up to love others is one should love one's only brother, dear Sadie. And there's just two kinds of people in this world, little girl. Yes, and both of them are in you. The two are right there inside you. And you become which of the two you choose to be you. And this is just one of the things I'd hope I'd have the chance to try to teach you. That and how to sharpen up a word, sing a ringing Dylan verse, read some Mary Oliver, play an E chord on guitar. I'd hope to try, but I'm afraid we'll miss that ride. Dear Sadie, well, I know now you'll never know me, but when you grow up, ask your daddy. You can ask him what I stood for, and let him tell you what I stood for. Dear Sadie, thank you. I got another song for you, Carly. Yeah, well, I told her she's from Wakulla County, but if you live in Wakulla County and you're like in Tallahassee and you meet somebody new, and they say, "Where do you live?" What you always say is, "I live down in the county," because there's really Crawfordville is the county seat, but it's not much of a seat, and everybody's kind of like spread out all over the county. And so they just said, "I live down there in the county." And I moved to Wakulla County when I came back from Nicaragua. Let's do this in E. I'm going to do this in And I moved to Wakulla County when I came back from Nicaragua. And I learned that term. And I woke up one day and I looked in the newspaper, and they had a big event that was happening in Wakulla County. The Super Walmart was opening on the Crawfordville Highway, and they had a big story about that in there. And right next to that story, they had a story about this gathering of local churches that had found some books that they thought needed burning. And so they were burning these books. So you had this, the front page was half burning books and half about the opening of Walmart. Well, there was a shopping cart, the new Walmart, full of kids in plastic bags. And their mama's buying shit that they don't need with money that she don't have. And it's living life close to the bone with an ass as wide as a mobile home. Screaming at the kids, "You better leave me alone. You don't want to make me mad." Well, it's like Fellini, with a creamy shot of cheese whiz. Yes, and that's how it is down here in the county. Well, the mama's got a man, but he ain't the dad. And there ain't one of them kids. And he comes around and they fool around and she's knocked up again. A runny nose, second-hand clothes, picking up cans on the side of the road. You find a lottery ticket and see how it goes. You gotta play to win, it's so Faulknerian, but less egalitarian. Yes, and that's how it is down here in the county. And it's Flannery O'Connor, a minus humor and redemption. And it's Harper Lee and Tennessee Mark Twain and Bill Hank Williams. And it's the book of Revelation. It's the National Enquirer. And it's all fuel for a literary fire down here in the county. Well, the county commission, it's all gone fishing, and the sheriff, he's cutting the bait. And in a quick little while, they made a pile dealing in the real estate. Subdivide them old cornfields, your brother-in-law, he's in on the deal. You cook the books and cop a field, roll the dice and wait. Well, it's Reaganomics with less convincing histrionics. Yes, and that's how it is down here in the county. It's a fast food nation, and everybody's bellying up. You got burgers, fries, and thunder thighs, cellulite and such. And there's Jesus nailed up on the cross, family values and a mullet toss. A dozen shrines to Dale Earnhardt and a lot of talk of blood. Well, it's kind of Kafka-esque, but with that crystal meth. Yes, and that's how it gets down here in the county. It's Flannery O'Connor, minus humor and redemption. And it's Harper Lee in Tennessee, Mark Twain and Bill Hank Williams. And it's the book of Revelation. It's the National Enquirer, and it's all fuel for a literary fire down here in the county. Tag it out. Down here in the county. I have a friend by the name of Jim Roche, and my influences as an artist have not really come from songwriters. It's come much more so from poets and artists. And Jim was a local guy who became a kind of famous artist. He showed at the Whitney Museum. And his brother was a good friend of mine. Jim was 13 years older than me, but when I was growing up, I looked up to this guy. And man, he was the first person that I really realized that you could be a redneck and you could also be an environmentalist, and you could care about women and you could care about including other people. And he talked like a hick, and he drove a truck, and he liked to hunt and fish, and he did all that. And he made this incredible art. And we have remained friends. He's been my longest influence, and we have remained friends. And he has recently turned 80 years old, and Jimmy is the only person who still will, like, I'll be in the house, and he comes and knocks on the door. He doesn't like, everybody else calls you or texts you, and not Jim. He just drives over and he'll knock on the door, and you open the door, and he has something to tell you every time. And so a couple of years ago, he'd just turned 80, And he came over and knocked on the door, and I opened the door, and Jim's standing out there. And what do? You go and knock on the yard, and then you go stand out on the door, and you go stand out in the yard and wait for you to come out. And he's standing out there, and I opened the door, and I said, "Hey, Jim." He said, "Grant, I figured it out." And I said, "What, Jim?" He says, "I'm going to die just like everybody else." And I went, "Oh, okay." Well, Jimmy, you told me you're living in your bonus years, and you finally figured out you're gonna die just like everyone else. And you say all the paint that you spilled, well, it could cover the walls of a church, but it dripped from your heart like a light from the dark. And you find nothing else really works. You say the Bible says a man should live 70, and you're thinking you might just hold out. Yeah, you want to believe, but the closer the day, the deeper the mystery and doubt. So much for the time when art's just a grind. Nobody's buying a thing. But if you turn back the clocks, it's more likely than not the path that you take be the same. Yeah, Jim, what you taught me will forever daunt me, but I'm carrying on still regardless. And to not be afraid of what my critics say, or to make any art that is harmless. Yes, if I really mean it, old friend, I shall sing it like a line from the palm of my hand. Yes, I'll carry our tune like a busted balloon, or a song from a bird on a branch. Yeah, you and me, brother, we see one another in the mirror of a cracker landscape. For now and forever, let's keep that together. Let's do whatever it takes. We need not feel shame or lay any blame. We were toast once we had us a taste. Using brushes and pens, it's been our greatest sin. Killing trees with the paper we waste. So much for the time when art's just a grind. Nobody's buying a thing. But if you turn back the clocks, it's more likely than not the path that we take be the same. All right, we got time for a couple more. Let's do, there we go. I told you I lived in Little Corn Island, Nicaragua, for 11 years. It's off the Mosquito Coast. And I was there with a woman, and it worked out real good for 11 years, and we moved back, and I got in the music business, and the whole thing fell apart. I recently wrote her a song. This is not an apology. This is not an amend. I've made lots of amends. I've made some of them with songs. This is not that. By the way, if any of y'all are interested in going to Little Corn Island, come see me and Ruthie. We'll tell you all about how to go with us. We take tours down there every spring off the Mosquito Coast. I found a photo yesterday in the bottom of a drawer. It was you years ago on Little Island. In a short flowered dress, a little floppy hat. Couldn't tell, but maybe you were smiling. The photo, you were standing on a cliff above the ocean and pointing towards a ship on the horizon. And the message therein was your ship was coming in. I think that's what you thought on Little Island. I went back to Little Island at the end of last year. The people there, they asked me all about you. I lied and said that we were still friends. I'd rather told the truth but didn't know how to. Went up to the hotel and I stared into the very well I dug in 1998. And I could see your reflection in the water at the bottom. For a minute there I almost said your name. Yes, I almost called out your name. Sandino vive, la lucha sigue, no me conviene lo que pasó. This is no apology, been thinking about the days, those days long ago. On Little Island. There were no Indians sleeping in catboats in the harbor, no lobster being hauled up from the sea. No turtles being slaughtered, no cocaine being bartered, just tourists in the shops and cafes. Well, I tell you it was strange, the whole damn scene, like I was living in some kind of dream. Ghosts were everywhere, that same mystery in the air. Some things haven't changed on Little Island. Some things remain the same on Little Island. Sandino vive, la lucha sigue, no me conviene lo que pasó. This is no apology, been thinking about the days, those days long ago. On Little Island. I remember the day we took a freight boat to the Main, on the aft deck in a hammock in the shade. A little bird flew in, ate breadcrumbs from your hand, and the people were all amazed. But me, I guess I knew your spirit through and through was all connected to that bird and men like me. The bird flew away, I saw tears on your face. I watched as they fell into the sea. Yeah, your tears, they returned to the sea. Sandino vive, la lucha sigue, no me conviene lo que pasó. This is no apology, been thinking about the days, those days long ago. On Little Island. Well, that little house I built had fallen into ruin. Whatever we buried's been lost. Forgotten but familiar, understood but peculiar. It all kinda added up to naught. And I walked among the graves where we buried our dogs, neath the trees where the hammocks had swung. I'm only writing to you now to make sense of it somehow. Try to figure out what went down on Little Island. Can't explain what took place on Little Island. Sandino vive, la lucha sigue, no me conviene lo que pasó. This is no apology, been thinking about the days, those days long ago. On Little Island, on Little Island, on Little Island. Try it. Oh, man, thank y'all. I don't know when the last time I played a show when I could pretty much tell you the name of everybody that was out there. Thank y'all so much for listening, though. I've really enjoyed this. Ari, how are we doing on time? We got like one or two more. I know you got a big, huh? Okay, good. So, let's see what we've got on this list. All right, we're going to go. I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to go from one minor key song to another minor key song. Okay. All right, I know you love that. We got two more songs for you. But
high fructose corn.
I'm going to do a song. Here we go again. I'm going to do a song. This is the only song, I guess, tonight that I didn't write. I'm going to do a song written by a friend of mine by the name of Liza Gilkinson. She wrote this song in 2006. And before I do it, I'm going to do a song called a poem called The Second Coming by William Butler Yeats. And this was written in the aftermath of World War I. We have a hard time remembering, thinking that anybody in any generation could have looked forward and thought things could be any bleaker than we think they are now. After World War I, people were really freaked out, especially the artistic community. What man had done to man was just incalculable. It was just unbelievable, the brutality. Man's inhumanity had been around for a long time, but it had never, the scale of it, once it got matched with technology, and people were throwing bombs out of planes into cities and gassing each other with chlorine and mustard gases and shooting cannons 20-something miles and going into cities. It was a horror. 55,000 people, men, died in one day in battlefields. And this is a poem called The Second Coming. And I believe William Butler Yeats is being a little ironic here. He was not a big fan of the church. And I think he was being a little ironic. I don't know if you're familiar with the poem, but you will hear language in here that's very familiar to you because it has made it into to our vernacular in so many songs and poems and movies and books. And the one in note, the song I'm going to sing after. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out of my mouth when a vast image of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with a lion's body and the head of a man is moving, while all about it the shadows of indignant desert birds reel, and the darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches now towards Bethlehem to be born. Well, look out, people, now it won't be long. A hurricane will be a-blowing strong. The chance to rise will have come and gone, slouching towards Bethlehem. What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? Slouching towards Bethlehem. He's coming in the name of hunger, putting all the poor folks under. Well, who is behind him, I wonder? slouching towards Bethlehem. What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? Slouching towards Bethlehem. Coming in the name of finance, corporations, religion, and violence. He's counting on collusion and silence, slouching towards Bethlehem. What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? Slouching towards Bethlehem. Do it again. You better throw your shoulder to the wheel and rise up high to the top of the hill. Better blow your horn even louder still. Slouching towards Bethlehem. What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? Slouching towards Bethlehem. What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? What kind of beast comes slouching? Slouching towards Bethlehem. Slouching towards Bethlehem. Slouching towards Bethlehem. All right, thank y'all so much. I don't know if y'all noticed there's a blue car out there in the a blue Honda HR-V out there. I bought that last year. I was on tour. Hold that. You'll know what to do. I bought that when I was on tour. I broke down in Mason City, Iowa, in my Honda Fit, and I had to buy a car to finish my tour, which I was cool. I put $9,999 on my credit card and just whoop, off to Ontario I went. And then I got home, and the bill came due at 22%, and I've had to take on a corporate sponsor. Does Travis Tritt have a corporate sponsor? Okay, well, but I've had to take one on because I'm not Travis Tritt. I can't, and I'm not proud of it, but it's just a fact, and I've had to do it. So, are you concerned about the future of our country? Do you see conservative, Christian, right-wing, straight, white American males embracing autocracy, totalitarianism, and fascism as they lay the free reins of democracy into the hands of billionaire oligarchs? Of course you see this. But maybe you've grown tired and weary of the fight against tyranny. Maybe the weight of the struggle for our country has got you down, and you're not just feeling that zest of energy that once fueled your progressive ideology and spiritual sense of justice. If so, fear not. Just brew you up a cup of Grant Peeples anti-fascist coffee. This coffee fights fascism, and it says so right there on the bag. Yes, just 4 or 5 cups of this dark Nicaraguan brew will get you energized and back on track in the fight against Obama-hating, gay-bashing, black-fearing, tree-killing, soul-saving, flag-waving, fox-loving, land-paving believers in fascism. Pick you up a bag of anti-fascist coffee on sale here tonight and continue in the fight for the ideals and the principles upon which this great nation was founded. All right, we got one more for you. Has anybody here ever been to Florida? All right. When I moved back from Nicaragua, they had a state song contest because our old state song was, this was an irony lost on everybody but me and Jeb Bush. The old state song for Florida was called The Old Folks at Home, a song that we know is Way Up and Down the Swanee River. And it was just kind of this racist diatribe, and Jeb knew it was a bad song. And so he decided we needed a new state song that was more positive about our state. And so, and it was a big money prize, and so I decided to go after it, and I did, and I entered the contest, and I lost. Thank y'all so much for being out. Thank you, Holly Riley. Thank you, Josh Day. Thank you, Ari. Great job back there. Here we go. You ready? In the middle of the winter, when you need a vacation, come where the sun and the sand is waiting. Right down here at the bottom of our nation. I'm talking about Florida. Well, yeah, now come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, there's 1,000 new residents coming down every day. They're all moving in and buying up the place. They're filling in the swamp to make some more space. And man, we're starting to need it. We got snake farms and alligator wrestlers, more state executions than anywhere but Texas. Shuffleboard and wet t-shirt contestants. Man, you gotta see it to believe it. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, we're #1 in lightning strikes, snake bites, alligator, and shark attacks. Got 1 million illegal aliens to sack our trash, clean toilets, wash dishes, and cut our grass. I'm telling you, it's heaven. We feature one golf course for every man, woman, and child. We cut down the trees and you can see for miles. Don't it seem like a place you could kick back a while? Well, dude, it don't get no better. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. We got these federally subsidized sugar plantations. They're bigger and richer than European nations. They own our politicians and hire all the Haitians. It's what you call a sweet deal. Well, everybody said it was some kind of joke when we said it ain't over till your brother counts the votes. And 10 years later, we elected Ron DeSantis. It's what you call a state steal. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Play it for us, Holly. Well, our school system rates higher than Mississippi and Louisiana. Though we're not up there with Tennessee and Alabama, 10% of our kids wind up in the slammer, and that's gotta count for something. You see, we ain't got no state income tax because we stick it to all the tourists to make up for that. It's a service-based economy. That's what keeps us fat. That and a lot of fried that mullet. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. You come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody, everybody, everybody else does. All right. Thank you so much. Hey, can I buy y'all dinner? That's about funny. That's what I got to offer.